Welcome back. It is officially the start of the 2017-2018 year. So you've been the president now for quite a while. So what do you think has been the greatest success as your presidency so far?
Wow. I think it's the relationships I've been able to make with people. You know, Pittsburgh is a wonderful space and place, and Robert Morris is a wonderful space and place. It has its own culture, its own history, its own vantage point, and I feel like I'm fitting in. I feel like I'm one of the Yinzers. And you know, there's other great things. There are buildings, and there are which we're in the Student Recreation Center and the Event Center, which are coming soon. That's very exciting. It's great that we were able to negotiate our contract with our adjunct faculty, our full-time faculty, and our facilities folks. That was great work to be able to indemnify and support their work and let them know that we really appreciate what they're doing. Graduation retention rates have been very strong, which is really, really wonderful. Also, corporate relations programs under Dr. Jacobs, who is Senior Vice President for Corporate Relations and Senior Vice Provost, has done a great job in making us the preferred partner, one of the preferred strategic partners for corporations, organizations, professionals, and aspiring professionals in the area. And that's neat because Robert Morris has always been tethered to the corporate and business world, being a school of accountancy going back to 1921. But now we take it to the next level. You know, we have these professional connections around information systems and around nursing, etc., done through our 5 schools. But Darius done a really good job of kind of pulling that together, branding it, which is evidenced by our new Amazon Web Services program, where we'll be offering, only school in Pennsylvania will be offering this AWS Cloud Computing certification, which leads to great jobs and great lives for our graduates.
That's amazing. It seems like a lot has been accomplished in a short amount of time.
Very much so.
So on the other side, is there anything that you feel personally that you would like to improve on?
Well, I think we have to pick up our fundraising and our endowment. I mean, we do well in virtually every measure compared to schools that are like ours, whether it be comprehensive masters, colleges and universities, or even doctoral granting universities. I mentioned before, our graduation rates are stronger than most schools that are kind of our size and our ilk. But you know, in terms of our endowment, we kind of punch below our weight in that regard. And so, you know, my wife and I, we're committed to supporting this school financially because we love it. I didn't go to school here, but I still give money to it. And it's just not just a grab. I know that college is not an inexpensive enterprise, but you know, you got to underwrite excellence, and we're an excellent institution. I'd like to see that endowment grow considerably over the next 5, 10, 15 years. It'll look more like the other great universities that we do well when we rack and stack ourselves against them in virtually every other metric.
Mm-hmm. So I drove on campus this year, and kind of bluntly, school is still standing. Could you please elaborate on that?
Sure. I said before, this is a wonderful project for the university, the Event Center, and also Student Recreation Center. It's the largest, most extensive capital project we've done in our 100-year history. As I said, it's, you know, we haven't done anything this big since Robert Morris himself was the president of Robert Morris University. That's a joke. He never was the president of Robert Morris University. So there's a lot of complexity in terms of the financing, getting the plans 100% right. And we've gone through that with great care, and I'm very pleased with what's come out on the other side. So we will have in early September all the governance stuff done. We'll go out to the marketplace and get the funding all taken care of. We got all that stuff sort of secured, and so by the end of September, you won't see Sewell standing. And we also want to be careful about taking down Sewell before the Student Recreation Center was 100% where we wanted it to be. So minimize the disruption. So, you know, it is a little bit later than what we anticipated, but these are big, sort of gnarly projects in a good way. And so we're going to be fine. You know, we will have a completion date in the near future in terms of exactly when it's going to be done. But I think we've taken the right considerations to make sure we build it right in the first place, the first time, because you know, Sewell was around for almost 30 years, and this building's going to be around for a long time. We want to get it right. And so we want to minimize the disruptions and maximize the perfection, as it were.
Completely understandable, but on kind of the same topic of construction, we're finally getting a turning lane. I feel like everybody is very excited about that. And there's a lot of construction on University Boulevard. Do you feel like any of that is going to kind of disrupt any of the exciting stuff for the beginning of move-in and all like the first-year activities?
No, I don't think we'll have a problem with the construction, especially on University. They're supposed to have that ready. PennDOT told us, and Moon Township, our other partners, who've been great in this regard. The community, the city councilors, the equivalent thereof, have allowed for work at night, so that by August 24th, it'll be ready enough, virtually 95% there, so as not to disrupt the new student coming on campus. And hey, this is something, I think my first faculty convocation or something like that, one of my first meetings with the faculty, they said, Dr. Howard, we just need to get a doggone turn lane there. So I'm feeling good that it's happening. I wish the timing was a little bit better, but I think we're going to minimize the disruptions because of our great partners in Moon and with PennDOT to help us get that done on time.
So many students were concerned and upset about this fee with the new rec center. I know there was that whole petition for the whole fee. So why was this extra fee added for this rec center and not when there wasn't one for Jefferson?
Yeah, well, have you seen the difference between what Jefferson looks like and what you're getting now?
Yes.
I mean, it's really corny. I think Thomas Jefferson might have built that building out there, so it's not exactly the number one place we go on our tour. So, but in all seriousness, just to give a little background. So going back, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years, the leadership, including Dean Michaelenko, spoke with the student government leadership and said, what do you think about us building a new student recreation center on campus? Something that's commensurate with the type of student we're bringing on campus who want to have active lives, have a facility that looks like other great facilities in the Pittsburgh region and beyond. And at that time, there was talk about, we're going to have to pay for this thing. You're going to have deferred maintenance, you got to build it. These are not inexpensive enterprises. And at that point, several years ago, the student government leadership, on their own volition, having done this survey, said, yes, we want to do this, and yes, we'd be willing to pay a fee to help support the cost, because again, these things all cost money. So years later, when we actually got into building the Student Recreation Center and the Event Center, I went back with Dean Michaelenko and his team, with Avinash and Anna, the student government leadership, with the entire student government leadership representation out there, the clubs and organizations, and put it to a vote and said, what do you think? This is what we think we want to build. The specs, and working with Armand Rosselli as well, and said, this is what we think we can build, kind of incorporates what you all wanted to do, and everybody gets everything what they want. We got the bulk of it. And what about a fee? The president and the board are within their purview to assess fees, but I thought the most important thing would be to listen to the students and say, what do you think? And they voted overwhelmingly to say that would be okay. And in fact, even when I was speaking to the bankers, I told them that our students stepped up and said, we want to do our part. I mentioned fundraising before. One of the great parts of the fundraising story is that corporations have given more money to Robert Morris in the last couple of years and will extend out the next 10, 15 years with these sponsorship agreements than the history of the university ever. I mean, this is really huge. And then in addition, Township has been a part of this. A lot of people have really chipped in, and so the student body doing their part to fund their part of it is much appreciated. Now, I realize, hey, university is not inexpensive. I have a son in university or college and one that just finished, thank goodness. But having said that, if we're going to have a great institution, we've got to fund it somehow. And for the students to do this part means a lot. And I maybe push back a little bit on your terms in terms of people that have spoken out against it. It's in terms of the entire student body, it's a very, very, very small portion. And in addition, we really did go to the student government leadership and we asked them for their opinion, and they dusted off the old study. They went back to their respective organizations and they came back and overwhelmingly said, let's do this. And so, on September 15th, when we have homecoming, we'll open this thing up. I think a lot of people are going to forget about what they're paying in terms of fee because they have a great facility. And also those fees are commensurate with what you would pay at a top level recreation center. We did go out and benchmark the best places in the area, and I think that the pricing is proportionate.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you again, Dr. Howard, for your time. It's great. Our 8th president, everybody. Thank you so much. We're logging off.
Thank you.